Do you believe in the supernatural or urban legends? You're probably aware that I don't, but something being true has never been the interesting part for me anyway. I enjoy how these stories come to be and what they say about a culture, a point in history, a particular location, etc. You can learn a lot from the stories people create to explain things, and often they're just really interesting regardless. But that's not to say that my point of view is correct, and there are certainly a lot of people out there who do believe in the supernatural, in curses, in superstitions, and so on. So, this week, we're going to take a look at an interesting survey I found, in which various Japanese people were asked which urban legends they believed were actually real. Some of these might be a little surprising, so let's head in and take a look. Coming in at number 10 on the list, apparently 55% of people surveyed at some point believed that if you were ever unable to breathe through your skin, then you would die. Yes, you heard that right. While not super common, this urban legend has been around for a while, and it's believed that it may have stemmed from a scene in 007 Goldfinger, where a woman is killed by being covered in gold dust. There were even once rumours that somebody died on one of Beat Takeshi's many variety shows after being covered in gold dust. Of course, this one isn't true, but at some point, nearly half the people interviewed thought it was. Interesting. At number 9, 58% of those surveyed once believed at some point in their lives that an actual real-life trial was once held for an old woman who put her cat in the microwave to dry it. This is a fairly common and morbid urban legend all around the world, not just Japan. And to be fair, this one could technically have taken place once, so it's not hard to understand why people might have thought it actually happened. There is, however, no evidence that any such trial has ever taken place in Japan. This one is just a legend that quite a few people believed at some point. At number 8, 61% of participants once believed that if you cannot repay your debts, then you'll be forced onto a tuna boat in order to work it off. This is a fairly common old wives' tale that no doubt came about because, at least in the past, working on a tuna boat out at sea for months at a time was incredibly lucrative and would earn people more than enough money to pay all their debts off at once. If you take that a step further, then you have people who can't repay their debts being forced to work on these boats instead. Has this ever happened before? Well, potentially, but ultimately it's just an urban legend. And no, you won't be forced onto a tuna boat against your will to repay whatever debts you have accumulated. Word is that tuna boats have sadly become far less lucrative these days anyway. At number 7, 66% of participants once believed that if you hiccup more than 100 times in a row, you'll die. I feel like this would be much larger news if it were true, and the population would be a lot less than it is now, but hey, there are stranger things to believe, I'm sure. Although, after hiccuping 100 times in a row, maybe you'll feel like you want to die instead. Could be some crossover there. At number 6, almost 70% of participants once believed that if you ride on a boat with your partner in the pond at Inokashira Park, then afterwards, you will break up. This is another common urban legend that has been around for many years, and it stems from the fact that Benzaiten, the goddess of water, is enshrined there. She apparently gets incredibly jealous of couples, so if you head over to her temple and flaunt your relationship, then she'll do the godly thing and break it up. Harsh. Naturally, this urban legend isn't true either, but it seems most people have believed it at one point or another. At number 5, and this is a very traditional Japanese urban legend you've likely heard of before, especially if you've read my Toshiden series, but 73% of people believed that if you are questioned by police at a police station, you will be served katsudon. This has been a pretty persistent rumour throughout the years, and it's something perpetuated on dramas a lot. The idea is that the police want to get answers, And so they butter the suspect up by feeding them. After all, who isn't happier after a nice big meal? Sadly, this one is just a legend though, and if you are arrested by the Japanese police, you may find yourself terribly disappointed when they don't serve you katsudon. But thanks to dramas where it's believed this legend started, many people once believed it to be true. At number 4, and this is another interesting legend to see so high up the list. Apparently 75% of those surveyed once believed that if you are the middle person in a 3-person photo, then you will die first. Again, this is an incredibly old urban legend that can be traced all the way back to cameras first being used in Japan, and the common belief that by capturing one's image on photographic paper, a little bit of your soul would be taken along with it. This particular legend about the middle person in a group of 3 being the one to die first, however, appears to stem from the fact that, in old photos, the person in the center of the photo tended to look a little warped or distorted thanks to the lenses of the time. Interesting to see that, even in modern times, so many people still believed this one. At number 3, 76% of participants once believed that because school hours have been reduced since their time at school, children now fully believe that pi equals 3. Just plain flat 3, no decimal points. This one should speak for itself really, but I find it fascinating that so many people actually believed this one to be true at some point. If only those kids had spent a few extra hours at school every day, then they'd know all those extra numbers, huh? At number 2, nearly 81% of those asked reported that they believed you could easily get part-time work in a hospital washing dead bodies. This is an interesting urban legend that has been around in Japan for many decades now, and similar to the tuna boats, it's believed that it came about because people thought you could make a lot of money doing this. Dead bodies aren't something most people interact with on a daily basis, so if you were tasked with cleaning them, surely that would be an incredibly lucrative job, right? And there can't be that many people out there who want a job like this, so if you managed to snag one, you'd be rolling in riches. Naturally, this legend isn't true, and not just anybody is allowed into a morgue to clean dead bodies. This is generally done by medical professionals, or students who are training under their care. And at number 1, a legend that a whopping 100% of people surveyed believe to be true. The rumors that compasses don't work inside the sea of trees near Mount Fuji. This is not just a common urban legend in Japan, but the world over, and it's not surprising that every single person asked once, or still, believed it to be true. However, numerous tests have been done on this over the years, and this legend has consistently been proven false. Yes, there is some magnetic interference in the hardened lava ground of the Sea of Trees, but at best, it's enough to make compasses merely budge, and you need to place the compass right on the ground to make this happen. Your compass will still work fine there, and you're likely to get lost for a whole host of other reasons that have little to do with it. And that's the top 10 urban legends that Japanese people once believed were true, according to this particular survey, at least. You can check the comments below for the rest of the list if you're interested. But what did you guys think about this one? Are there any urban legends that you believed were true when you were a kid? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.